So if you were the Northwood coach after the first loss, what would have been your advice about how to approach the match differently? Because it didn't look like they changed a whole lot between the first time and the second time, except they went with the pharmacy comp, which didn't look like it did a whole lot.
I don't think Northwood is playing that bad, so if I'm the coach, I don't want to get in their heads too much. I want to tell them to calm down, take it easy. Presumably they pick King's Row because they know how to play that map, so just say, boys, go out there, play your best. I think, especially this map, the payload map, should see a little more success coming in. This is going to come down to going to have the higher score at the end, not necessarily just who caps the point. This could go a couple rounds. Seconds here, we'll find out what everybody is playing.
So I'm kind of curious here if, with Murray State, if the sub out is going to give them a stronger comp, or if that's going to cause some sort of a break in the communication because they won't have the experience facing Northwood that the other 5 players will.
Based on practices, I'd say it's not going to change the gameplay too much. Fuji is playing Issa. And by the way, thank you to the followers coming in on Twitch. She is playing that Orisa role, so you're going to see kind of the same gameplay here. Now you do see the switch for Anher playing the Mei here. Just like we saw on Paris earlier, King's Row has a couple different points of entry, but the Mei here is going to be critical to walling off their team with that ice wall and isolating members of their team. So Northwood has to be prepared for that. Sync. Going Widowmaker again. Can he get any pick?
And we saw that kind of walling off strategy earlier. It was actually in the bot match where they wall off just like they just did, and they catch some of these players out, and it worked just like it did before. The Lucio actually manages to get away, but it was the Reaper that went down because he just got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time with that really well-timed wall.
And you do want to take out that Reaper because he can harass the backline. You know, no matter who, if you get that early pick, that is crucial because these players, it's not a quick play match. They know that they need to group up, so anytime you make them stagger 1 or 2 people, it's important. Reaper coming in on the top. Mei's getting the freeze on the Sigma. Does freeze the Sigma, but no backup there. Mei needs to retreat to the team a little bit, and she does. Barrier's coming in. Immortality Field to stabilize the backline. They're going to have to get on that quickly because Reaper is coming in, and he's coming in hot. Anher does get the Lucio. Sync. Double kill from the Widow for Northwood. And Red Team may take this first point relatively quickly, although Flatfield coming in with some excellent hills to keep his team alive. He does fall. He falls as well. Northwood is going to take the first point.
That was a really good engage, actually. Despite the ice walls that were trying to pick people off, they managed to go around those really well, especially with Lucio being able to keep everybody alive. So it didn't have as much effect. I suspect more of the comp was built around them, assuming they would catch more people out with that wall and be able to hold the point for longer. And that just really didn't work out for Murray State.
And as we saw in the previous map, Sync did have the switch to Widow, but Busan is not really the map with a whole lot of sightlines. You do have a little bit of high ground. Here you have the sightlines, and Sync definitely made his presence known, so they're going to have to be on the lookout because a Widow on fire like that will change the game. Damage boost coming in from the Baptiste. Barrier going up top for Sigma. This is a deadly choke point. Northwood definitely has to get around this to make progress. Can they do it? Rock coming in. That excellent pull in an ice wall. Great strategy for Murray State. Isolating, but Reaper manages to get away just in time. Just inches on that ice wall, and that Reaper would have been dead. Bonsai gets the pick on the Sync. He gets the double kill. Bonsai is on fire today. Cleaning up the kills. Red Team, Northwood having to back off just a little. Couple picks. They're going to have to reevaluate. Yummy Anna has his ult. Who are they going to nano? Are they going to wait for the Reaper? I have a feeling they will. You do have ult advantage right now for Murray State. They have the Coalescence. They have the Blizzard. Chief now, and here comes the Blizzard. Freezing Red Team in place. Can they capitalize on this? And her coming in to clean up. Red Team backs up. They do get the pick on the Sigma and the Lucio. And the Junkrat. Well done from Murray State.
That was a pretty incredible Moira ult coupled with that, sorry, not Moira ult, Mei ult coupled with that Moira ult where it froze them so they were unable to actually dodge any of the damage from that Moira ult, forcing the team to either back off or just to die, and now they're getting to push that point back from whence it came.
And this is just where you want to be if you're Murray State. Keep that payload in there. There is only through the arch or the window. They've switched off of the Widowmaker, so now, and you can see Reaper just pacing the joint up there, just waiting for them to come down. Gravitic Flux coming in, and then the Reaper with his ult. And her gets the pick on the Sigma. Ults galore coming in here. Mortality Field keeping Murray State alive, but they're able to stabilize afterwards. They're getting the picks. Almost a team wipe. Sigma makes it a win.
That was pretty impressive, and especially from last game where we saw one thing, it's that Murray State, when they get to a choke point, they can really just hold it no matter what. They just coordinate so perfectly between their shields and their heals and when they send their DPS. And just like we saw before, Reaper took that high ground to just try and hold them off, forcing them through that one spot.
And here comes the Junkrat. Oh, can he get anybody? He gets one, Fushi. You don't want the tank to go down here. This is a time where you need the barriers. Northwood pushing ahead. Can they capitalize on the pick? Murray State still alive. Coalescence coming out. Are they going to pop any more ults here? They do have the advantage. Damage Matrix coming in from Flatfield. Blizzard going out as well. It's going to be an ult fight. Immortality Field. Now it's gone. It's not going to provide any benefit. Flatfield cleaning up. Not only doing the heals, but doing the damage, and Bonsai as well. And just like that, Murray State turns a bad situation into a good one. Excellent play.
That was really good because Murray State backed off, allowing the payload to move forward just a little bit. And even though they technically lost ground off of it, it just moved it into a position where they were better able to set up, just giving them more of an advantage.
See the payload going back slowly. Wants to get on that. They have a minute 47. That is plenty of time for Overwatch. Although that next checkpoint is far away, they have plenty of time. Murray State has read this perfectly. Northwood coming over behind, and Murray State is there for them. They've got the shields down. Can they get the picks? You've got to reward smart gameplay. Can they do it? Immortality Field keeps them alive. They weren't able to isolate anybody. Immortality Field's still there. Bonsai gets the pick. Doomfist kills Flav. Bonsai with another pick. Reaper is cleaning up today.
That May wall is just incredible. It kept back 2 members of Northside, allowing Murray to pick off some of the other members. And that was actually, I think, a really good decision by Northwood just to try and go around, hit a different angle, not give Murray the choke point that they've proven that they've been able to defend. But just that May with the slow and the wall was just an incredible play.
Northwood not playing badly. And we have to reiterate that. They're not doing bad. They are playing smart. Murray State is just better right now. That could change. 45 seconds, still plenty of time for Northwood to get on the cart and make a push. As long as they are on that cart when overtime starts, they can keep pushing. They get to the next point, many of you know it will increase the time. Murray State almost getting the payload back into the arch. That's just where it wants to be. Ice wall separating the Doomfist. He can't get to his team. Orisa up top, gonna rain down fire, but nothing is gonna land because of the shield. Sigma does get a pick on Anher. Ult advantage in favor of Murray State. Barely, and now, yes, major advantage on the ult. You've got Reapers, Mays, and Sigmas. They need to hold on to those for 13 seconds. Doomfist going down Bonsai once again, just getting the kills at the right time. Orisa still alive. She goes down. There goes the Baptiste. They've got 5 seconds. There is no way they don't have enough time to make it. Oh, they do. One flanks down from behind. Reaper, can he hold it for Northwood? Doomfist coming in, and as soon as you think it's over, they come back. Reaper trying to get the kills, and there's the ult from Bonsai. He gets the kill. He gets 3. Is Murray State going to hold it? Overtime almost done, and Murray State takes round 1.
That was actually a really good last push by Northwood. They coordinated that so well, especially with the Doomfist ult, going into him being able to have so much mobility that he was really hard to hit. And they almost held on to that point.
Now you definitely saw in that round, Anher, when he first started off, there were a couple ice walls that were great, but they were inches off, right? You saw his confidence grow in that game with every survival, with every kill, and those ice walls at the end of that just became crucial. Have 15 seconds to assemble. Payload's still up on the map. Resets here. Now, most of you watching the stream will know because you play Overwatch. That's a 1-0 right now. Even though Murray State won that round, the scoreline shows that Northwood is ahead. As some of our viewers may not know on Payload, every time you hit a checkpoint, you hit a point. So if Murray State can make it as far as they did, they can win. If Northwood would have made it to the second point, they would have had a score of 2. We would have had to match that or do better. So right now, 1 point, not horrible. Murray State just has to get beyond that first point, really. seconds. Looks like Murray State's going to run. Sometimes you do see teams switch. There is one change. Flatfield switched from Baptiste to Anna, and I think that's a good switch for Murray State. You have the sight lines, and Flatfield, his main is actually Anna, and he is nasty with the Anna, so I'm looking to see some excellent heals and some nanos here. Northwood keeping mostly the same. They've switched to a Zenyatta and a Mercy, and Sync is on the Mei this time. Ice Wall's coming in. Murray State with the aggressive push. Northwood still alive, Flatfield frozen. Ice Wall trying to separate the team. Reaper is going to retreat. Quote gets the kill on Orisa. Random Rager, Reaper on Reaper violence there. Somehow Sigma killing himself. That's not going to be good for Northwood. Murray State able to take at least a tick. They are going to stabilize here and get the second tick. I don't think Northwood is going to get back in time. They're probably going to cede this to Murray State and hope they can make one last stand.
And this is kind of what we saw before in reverse, where Northwood just took the point in just a few seconds for Murray State. And the really interesting part of this match will be to see if Murray State is able to make it through this choke point.
Now, for the viewers not familiar with Overwatch, you do see behind the red team there was that glowing box. That's where Murray State needs to get their payload to win the game. They have to get it to there and beat the distance that Northwood had. And this choke point was deadly for Murray State on defense. How can they turn the tide on offense? Brilliant ice walls from Anher again. Cutting off red team, not letting Northwood get a sight line on him. Sync switched over to the Pharah. You're starting to see Northwood in desperation hours. You're seeing them switch constantly. I feel like at this point they need to just pick something and stick to it. Murray State consistency is key right now. Get knocked back, and her getting the pick on the Reaper. Who's going to go next? Blizzard coming in, but perfect transcendence from Barty. He just needs to hold on until his team can back him up, and he's not able to do so. Is Northwood going to get back in time, or is this going to be an early victory for Murray State? They're going to get it to the point, and Murray State takes it.
As victory by
Murray State 2-0, and I think that's going to wrap it up. Let's see that play of the game. Bonsai deserved, definitely over the last two maps. He has been incredible.
I just want to compliment Bonsai's positioning, where so often during that game, Murray State would set up at a choke point, and then Bonsai would choose the only other way that Northwood could have gotten around, and he would just defend that point, not letting them get through.
Perfect positioning, excellent communication and teamwork to pop that ult at the right time, and Murray State, in their first ever collegiate Overwatch match, goes away with the win. They bring home the W. We're going to take a quick break. I believe that does it for us. We'll make sure that it's definitely not a best of 5. I believe that's it. When we come back, we'll get an interview over here. I believe we're going to bring Bonsai up here since he was play of the match 2 times in a row. So let's get his thoughts on the game. We will return momentarily.